Hey, what's up everyone? I recently played around with ChatGPT to try to see how I can improve my autoresponder emails. With ChatGPT, I saw the opportunity to take the information provided by users signing up for special offers to then generate an itinerary specifically to their travel dates instead of sending them a generic autoresponder email. So what you're looking at here is an email that is created by ChatGPT. So in a moment, I'm going to take you through the chatbot so you can see what the flow looks like. And then I'll show you the email that it created with ChatGPT, of course. And then I'll give you a sneak peek into how the ChatGPT API call was constructed to then produce this sort of layout. All right, so here we are in the Typebot, and I'll quickly go through the flow here and then show you the itinerary that ChatGPT will be creating. So let's fill out the first name, pass over my email address, submit my fictitious phone number. I'll enter my check-in date and check-out date, so from the 10th through the 13th. I'll put in a party of 5, and yes, some pets will be joining. All right, so in the background, it's going to send a promo code as a text message and also as an email. And then down here, it's asking the user if they would like a 3-day spring itinerary delivered to their email. So I'm going to go ahead and click on yes, send 3-day itinerary. And now I'm going to take you to my email inbox so that you can see the itinerary that was created. So here we are. It just got sent, as you can see here. And here is the 3-day itinerary, and it auto-generated all of this. So it's a 3-day itinerary for Blue Ridge, Georgia from these dates. So you'll see that the itinerary is broken down by the number of days and the name of the day. And then it offers different things to do on each day. Now, all of these items in the itinerary are being pulled by information that I fed ChatGPT. And also something that I notice is that you have to be really specific if you want like a certain layout or certain information that you want provided in the itinerary. So it's kind of a wild card because the responses aren't always the same or in the same format. So I'll give you a couple of examples. In this other itinerary, you can see that it offers a little note down here. And if you paid special attention to the previous itinerary that I showed you, it showed that day 1 was Thursday, when in fact it's Friday. Let me show you another example. Here we have a 7-day itinerary. The things to do are 1 or 2 sentences, when in fact what I was looking for was an actual list. And the last example I'll share with you is this layout. I really liked how the itinerary was broken down by morning, afternoon, and evening. But as you can see with the days, it left out the name of the day. So that's what I mean when I say that ChatGPT output is kind of a wild card. It's a little bit unpredictable. So what does that mean for us trying to create an itinerary like this? That means that we need to give ChatGPT more explicit commands on its output. So let's take a look under the hood to see the data that's being fed to ChatGPT and then what I'm trying to do to try to hone in to get responses in a certain format. All right, here we are in Typebot. In this first block, I'm setting a variable, and really what I'm doing here is just passing in the information that ChatGPT is going to draw its answers on. I'm going to take a quick detour to show you how I grab this information. All I did was look up top things to do in this particular town, and then chose a page that looked the most promising with the most amount of valuable information. From there, I opened up the console, ran this little script that you see down here, and what that script did was to transform that HTML into just plain text. I copied the text here, then went over to the OpenAI playground, pasted the text in here, went to view code, and here this text has been formatted in a way that doesn't produce errors when you feed it into the ChatGPT API. So this text is what you see here in my Typebot. All right, so now we have the data that we're going to pass over to the ChatGPT API. So next, what I need to do is put some parameters around that. And that's where I created this code block called itinerary request. Let's go ahead and open that up and maximize this window a little bit more. If you found this video helpful so far, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If you read the parameters that we're trying to pass over to ChatGPT, you can see that we're asking it to create an X number of day itinerary for a group visiting Blue Ridge, Georgia from one date to another date. And then here, I'm specifically asking it to use US Eastern Standard Time, and then I'm asking it to label day of the week next to each date. And then for the first date, I'm asking it to start with check into cabin rental. And then for the last day, I'm asking it to say check out and say goodbye to Blue Ridge, Georgia. Then I'm asking it to offer suggestions if the check-in and check-out dates are during US holidays. And then finally, I'm asking it to create an output of the itinerary and HTML structure. So now that we have our data source in place and then the parameters in place, the next thing to do is pass these variables into the OpenAI API call. So this is the OpenAI block in Typebot. I'm going to maximize this so you can see a little bit better. So down in messages, we have two different roles here, one for system and one for the user. The system is setting the behavior that we want the ChatGPT model to have. So I'm asking it to be a travel planner. Did you know many conversations begin with a system message to gently instruct the assistant? So here in the OpenAI documentation, you can see that there's this example. It says, you are ChatGPT, a large language model trained by OpenAI. Answer as concisely as possible. And then it passes in a period for the knowledge cutoff and the current date. On a different page on the OpenAI documentation, you can see the system role being asked to be a helpful assistant. It seems to me like this is one of those things where you have to play around with it to see if you get the output that you're expecting to get. And then down below in the user role, this is the information that we're passing in to ChatGPT as the input. So we're passing in the data along with the parameters that we set. And then from here, all we're doing is saving the answer as itinerary text. And if you're an Encharge user, something that you might be interested in is formatting the text into HTML. If you remember the last line in the instructions that I'm passing over to ChatGPT, it's to create the itinerary in an HTML structure. I found out that if I don't explicitly ask for an HTML output, that it's just going to give me a string of text with no formatting. And that's important because if you plan to send this with your email provider or your marketing automation system, you want it to look clean and formatted instead of just a bunch of jumbled text. So what I did in Encharge, and this is where I'm sending out the autoresponder emails, I created an HTML block right in here and then passed in a custom field that contains the itinerary but in HTML structure. Here I am in the flow section of Encharge, and you'll notice that the receive webhook is what captures the information from Typebot. And then from here, I map the information over to the appropriate fields within Encharge. So in this example, you can see that I'm capturing the information in the itinerary text variable in Typebot, and then mapping it to a custom field in Encharge called itinerary. And here you'll notice that the itinerary text is formatted in HTML. And that's what gives it the nice structure in the email, like this, instead of this. If you made it this far into the video, I want to give you a special thank you, and I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions or ways to improve this, I'd love to hear from you in the comments.